In a city like Dublin, full of the most iconic, authentic, incredible pubs in the whole world, one might find it rather daunting to open a new pub amongst such an experienced landscape. Well, that's exactly what the Storyteller Pub did 1 year ago. And as someone who might want to open a pub someday, you never know, lads.
You sure about that?
I'm here somewhat selfishly to get the lowdown on the whole process, from idea to opening, hiring staff, what beers to sell, and most importantly, how to serve a fantastic pint. Just want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of the video, you lads over at Manscaped. I've said this before, they send a script every month. I usually don't read them. I just spiel off the top of my head, but sometimes when they're as good as this, I'll read them. Whether you like it or not, lads, Valentine's Day is coming up. Roses are red, violets are blue. Trim your and your date will thank us too. Valentine's Day is knocking and Manscaped is the remedy for what the love doctor ordered. His prescription? The all-new Performance Package 5.0 Ultra. These lads should be writing Hollywood scripts. But to be fair, lads, the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is just the best razor in the game. This electric trimmer features skin-safe technology guarding your V-Day treasure. The Performance Package 5.0 also features the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer. We all know a fella who needs that, or a woman. Plenty of women out there with hairy noses and ears as well. We don't judge. Get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com with my code, you already know it, PINTS20. Thank you, Manscaped, for your continued support on the channel. Now let's go find out how to open a successful pub in Dublin.
We're here on Grand Canal Street. Let's get in out of this crazy, windy Irish weather.
Don't make unnecessary journeys.
Let's go into the Storyteller, meet Jack, maybe get some lunch and have a pint. Come on, Jesus Christ.
Will I just start talking now? Right, lads, I have to say, for a pub that's only a year old, it's an absolutely beautiful pint. I might give a little score after a few more gulps, but I'm genuinely impressed. As for food, didn't know whether we were going to come in and have a bit of grub or not, but you see a fish finger sandwich on the menu. It's hard to look past. So fish finger sandwich with crispy bits, pickled onions, shredded lettuce and spiced citrus mayo. Cameraman Dave, do you fancy one? Two of them, so.
Here we go.
Cheers, Jack.
Fish finger sandwiches.
Beautiful.
Delicious.
Quickly, Jack, when I picture a fish finger sandwich, I'm picturing like those frozen ones you would have eaten as a kid. What's the...
So that's sole.
Sole?
Yeah, deep fried sole. We get it in a couple of times a week. It's delicious.
Yeah.
Just
And
deep
just
fried.
chop it
So
up,
chopped
deep fried.
chopped up into small, like.
Oh,
I
genuinely wouldn't have been disappointed if it was the fucking
No,
freezer
no.
one. So this is
The real
serious.
deal.
It's the real deal.
From Wrights in Marino.
Right, San Marino.
Yeah,
Sweet.
it's
Right.
Idaho.
We'll have a munch of this and we'll chat
Get
to
it
you in
into you.
a few minutes. Nice
Enjoy.
one, Jack.
Enjoy.
Oh, baby. Nice soft bread. Oh, man. Eaten so many burgers in my life. Don't think one of them has ever had fish inside it, so it's a totally new experience. That sounds very food reviewy. Right, Jack, Storyteller.
Yeah.
Coming up, or by the time this is out, it'll pretty much be the first birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
15th of February.
That's my birthday.
Is it?
Fucking hell.
No, it's not.
It is! I swear to God,
Come
it
in for a
is.
pint.
Yeah.
Yeah, 15th of February last year, obviously.
Right, happy birthday to the Storyteller
There
and
you go.
myself.
Yeah.
I'll be 31, it'll be one. Can you describe, let's put you in the spot, 3 words to describe first year in business?
3 individual words or a sentence.
Whatever you want to,
Yeah.
whatever way you want to take it.
It was very good crack.
Very good crack.
Yeah.
Okay.
I leave it at those 3.
Yeah? No,
Yeah, it
that's
was.
good.
The year as a whole was very good crack.
Yeah.
Like, it was obviously a lot of hard work, but like the predominant memory has been like,
Jeez, I think that's good. Like
Yeah.
in terms of at least the memory, isn't like,
Yeah.
fucking hell, what have I done?
yeah. So it's been great.
And what's your kind of pub background? This is your first pub
First
you've
pub.
kind of owned.
Yeah. So we own the leasehold or whatever you want to call it, but we own the company. Yeah, myself, John McCormick, and Jacob Long.
Yeah. And are you able to
Um,
explain, like, you don't have to if you don't want it, but how, not the details, but I think a lot of people just think, yeah, if someone owns a pub, they just that's their building and all, but I think most of them.
Well, it depends on, like, there was
you're nearly renting it kind of.
Yeah,
Like,
and that would be standard enough. Obviously,
Yeah.
there'd be loads of places that would own their buildings or whatever. But like for us, starting out 30 years of age, we didn't have the money to come in and buy a building in town. You know.
Yeah.
So we got someone to buy it for us, which was great, and then we lease it back off them, straightforward enough. Do you know what I mean? And then we operate the business day to day.
Yeah, and yeah, so your kind of pub background before this, then what would?
Yeah, poured my first pint in Malahide Cricket Club. Would you believe?
Right.
When I was 15.
2 days ago.
Yeah.
This is great banter. It really is.
And then went to the right venue.
Some Guinness in there?
Yeah, no Guinness in there really. When I was 18. And then met a guy called Alan Clancy there, and he ended up opening loads of pubs, 37 Dawson Street, which I went and worked in, and then he opened Zico, and I went and ran that for him for 5 years.
So I could picture you in your early 20s as this big nightclub man on the scene.
No.
My
But
ladies.
No, but Zico was great crack as well. A lot of fun, high energy, late nights. This is like a different ball game completely compared to it.
This feels like, probably feels like a 9 to 5.
Yeah, it does, yeah. COVID came along, set up Grilla, but that was like just a stopgap. We always said that we wanted to open pubs. Like that's been the kind of goal from...
So just for context, if you would have seen the best sandwich video I did, that was in Grilla with Jacob, your partner, business partner. In terms of business, that was the first kind of thing. Yeah. And then you said, fuck it, let's open a pub. Yeah.
Well, we had kind of like pre-COVID, we're like plotting and planning to open a pub. And then obviously that got in the way, whatever, and it was like it's probably a blessing in disguise because we would have never set up Grilla if it wasn't for COVID. So like now we have both.
From someone like me who never, when I started this, was it ever with the intention of opening a pub. People always ask me, oh, would you open a pub someday? 3 years ago I said, not a fucking chance. Now I'm like, probably not, but possibly.
Yeah.
So say selfishly, like what would be some kind of do's and don'ts that you would have taken from, say, the previous experience and in the last year?
Yeah, like there's it's funny, like there's loads of little mistakes we've made along the way. Do you know what I mean? And that's probably the joy, like hopefully will be the joy of it when you're opening more. That you're like, oh, I won't do that this time. Yeah. But just like being like looking at every aspect of the business, looking at fit out costs, looking at could this be more, looking at could this break, all stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Maybe doing a bit more delving into the building itself before you take it. That's one thing I would say to people. But like, listen, we didn't know that.
So you took it over and you're like, oh,
it needed more work than we had probably originally thought.
What's, say, from maybe you've always had the idea in your head to open a pub, but kind of from realistically saying we want to do this to the first day it opened, what's the sort of time frame?
Yeah, well, it depends, because we've looked at other pubs before this one. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And they fell through, or we got outbid, or it didn't work out, or COVID came along, or whatever. So like, it's like, how long is a piece of string? You know, that's why it's good with us in this. There's 3 of us in it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's not like me on my own there trying to run the Storyteller, and then if something else comes up, like, we wouldn't be able to do it. That's why there's 3 of us. So yeah, keep an eye out. You never know, you might see us pop up somewhere else soon. This has always been a pub for a lot, like nearly 100 years, they say.
Yeah. Again, how much did you keep and how much did you change?
Yeah, so we like structurally didn't change didn't change it at all really. Like, do you know what I mean? We kind of moved the bar downstairs, chopped off a bit of that, all new floors, new tabletops, new furniture, full new paint job. As I said, we had to do a lot of work under the ceilings and under the floorboards that you can't see, but like, listen, that's grand. Yeah. So yeah, like we can put in some new stuff into the kitchen, all the new tiling and all of that is new. Like,
I've been to so many, and this is typically abroad, but I've been to so many Irish pubs in these kind of European cities, and I hear there's like this service you can pay like 20 grand, and these lads just basically ship out a load of stuff. They send over lads, they nail on 400 Guinness signs on the walls, they put the bale of hay over in the corner, and you can just tell, maybe not as non-Irish person couldn't tell, but as an Irish person you can just tell this is so inauthentic. The concept of this video is like, you're opening a pub in a city that has probably got the most iconic pubs in the whole world. They've got decades of reputation, blah blah. How do you go about trying to maybe keep the regulars from the old pub, get new regulars? Because I guess regulars are kind of what keeps the pub alive. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. We're down in quite a techie, officey driven area, so we would be quite corporate focused.
And slightly easier to get new people in the door?
Yeah. Well, you know, when you're a new pub, it's kind of easier to get new people in. There's plenty of guys who were here before who've come back.
Yeah.
And then there's loads of people who've never been here before.
Like literally a 10-minute walk.
Well, that whole building here is going to be Google. You've got Facebook, all of that.
Yeah.
Stripe is right next door, who are great. They're in a lot. And then there's still some people who used to drink here and are still drinking here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we wanted to like over deliver on quality Irish food. Do you know what I mean? And so our butchers from Ranelagh, we've got obviously Wrights doing our fish. Yeah, Jacob Woodby obviously knows a huge amount about food, as you met him before, and we've got a great team of chefs up there, led by Simone up in the kitchen. And like, yeah, it's just food that we can deliver quickly. That tastes really good and isn't crazy expensive. We want you to come in, have some nice food, and then stay for a load of pints. That's
and speaking of pints, like that's obviously a big, like, you open an Irish pub, a big attention is centered around the Guinness. So like, say even with kind of staff and stuff, like, is there much training, or is it more you trust what's coming through the pipes, or do you think it's more down to the individual who's pouring it, or like, I'm always fascinated to see what the
So we kind of have a theory here. So the Guinness, now I only drank here once before when it was Becky Morgan's, but the Guinness, it's always been known for its Guinness.
Okay.
The keg room is right underneath the taps. Literally, if you stamp through, you're falling in onto Guinness kegs. Yeah, so short lines.
6 foot lines
Yeah,
or something. Yeah,
exactly. Short lines. Arkway are brilliant, so they look after all our taps and our system and our coolers and all of that. Ryan, good man Ryan.
So Arkway, so how does that work? Like, they come in every so often?
Yeah.
And they clean it?
Yeah, and then, Guinness clean it, because Guinness have their technicians that come in and clean it. But Ryan would have like fixed it up, and any problems we have, he would come in. We hand wash our glasses every week.
Okay.
Right.
So
I think especially
no dishwasher.
we have you're washing them in the dishwasher all the time.
Yeah.
But because people are drinking pints and eating food, you know the way sometimes you can see that greasy mark on the glass.
That's
so they're
huge.
hand washed on a Monday. But like, short lines, clean glass. Do you know what I mean? It's once it's at the right temperature. I don't know. I think Guinness have definitely got much better at keeping it consistent across the board. You know better than I will.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be a fan of drinking.
So let's go biggest challenge, and then maybe if you have a highlight, or just whatever the opposite of a challenge is. So biggest challenge first and foremost over the last 12 months.
But it's just getting it going and getting people in. Like, you know, it's like, it is scary when you're opening a pub, because you're like, oh my God, but especially the couple of weeks coming up to, you're like, what if nobody comes in?
Literally, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's definitely the biggest challenge, or the thing we would talk about the most, is how can we make sure this place is full all the time by like staying, obviously not all the time, but like by staying relatable, putting some good stuff out on social media, and then it's all down to the lads you have.
Like 2 o'clock on a Tuesday, and there's a good crowd of people downstairs having a bit of lunch and a pint. Any highlight over the last 12 months, or just something that's
that day when Ireland
pleasantly surprised you?
When Ireland won the Grand Slam, that day was like mental, because obviously we were right beside the Aviva.
And you were literally open.
We were open
like 2 months or something.
Yeah, and that was like mental, from 12 o'clock in the day till 1 o'clock in the morning. It just did not stop, and the buzz was obviously unbelievable.
The pub can only be so busy. You've only so many taps. You can only put so many staff behind there until they're counterproductive. So would you just, it was a case of just one lad is just there going.
Yeah, it was literally. Yeah. And we'd swap over, like take turns. He was on the Guinness for the next hour. Do you know what I mean? Like,
seems like, I don't know if you're lucky in this aspect, but I don't really know, but it seems like the staff all have a decent bit of experience. Yeah, they're not just.
No, so like we would have got they've all been working in bars for 10 years. Do you know what I mean?
And then you've got the background experience, that you have plenty of people that you would know that you can kind of recruit or whatever like that. So yeah. Right, Jack, absolute legend
there. Thanks a million. Thanks for coming in. Sound.